I'm not a violent person anymore. 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 Fuck! Hello, Chassos. Welcome to a little bit of a dark day for the Tau Empire because the new Stealthsuit datasheet has been released and it is not good. There are one or two bright points, but this is an unnecessary nerf that has me honestly feeling a little bit angry. I have had faith in GW lately. I think they've made quite a few good decisions. This one is an unmitigated failure, in my opinion. Now, for anybody who's going to go on and spread a bunch of hate and whatever else, when I say that I am angry, not in a way where I'm going to go and write to the devs, because I know that stuff happens and people do a lot of shitty things. Don't do shit like that. This isn't anybody else's problem. When I say I'm angry, I am disappointed. I wanted better. I want my faction to be as good as possible, and I think there were routes to do it. And I am just angry that we're at basically a 50% win rate with newer players on the lower side of it, and we didn't need nerfs. Especially too, and I'll get into this, to the only unit, now that Tetras are gone or have been gone since we got our codex, that meaningfully interacts with our army rule. All right, so here we are at the data sheet. The first thing to point out is the new unit sizing. You must take them in a 5-man. You must take them in a 5-man. They can only take a gun and a marker drone, so no more shield drone, which means that is an additional nerf. You cannot take a battlesuit support system, so no fall back and shoot on them, which is really, really important because eligibility to shoot is the only thing you need to be able to guide. These guys have battlesuit, but they're infantry, so if somebody tags you in melee, no guiding for you. No guiding for you whatsoever. The utility that these guys could bring to an army that actually doesn't have a ton of fallback and shoot is now gone. 2 models can have their burst cannon replaced with a fusion blaster. That is an improvement over the 6-man, but it's really not worth all that much, honestly. Still got the homing beacon. The one thing that I will say is the stealth chasfray can be equipped with a pulse pistol. This means you have to stay in the combat to be able to guide. But the days of you being able to fall back with fly over the top of people, get an angle that you needed to get. Nope. If somebody tags you in combat and they have pre-measured that you can't see anything from where you're standing, that is it. That is just... You're guiding into the unit you're in combat with, and that's basically it. Or anybody else that's immediately in your line of sight without moving. So the wound loss on the shield drone just straight up sucks. Like GW, no one plays your drones on the tabletop. Nobody uses them. WTC, we use them because you have to represent tokens, whatever. But that's only some of the biggest tournaments. A lot of teams tournaments don't even bother with that requirement. I know that it's all that shows up in the box, but Jesus Christ, nobody cares. It's an equipped war gear. It just... Anyway. So we lost battlesuit support system. We lost shield drone. We must take them in a 5-man. And going into the points, that's your new point cost. 110 points. So we have gone from a unit that was previously 60 points. Army rule change went to 80, which was perfectly fair. Let's be honest, that was perfectly fair going to 80 points, and you could flex into 120 points to take 6 of them. Now, 5 of them you must take at 110. This means that if you want even just 2 units of our best guiding unit, your list automatically includes 220 points of what is, in my opinion, kind of a must-take. One of the things that frustrates me about this is that we are not a faction that has easy access to rerolls. Yes, we have Shadow Sun, but in the light of everything that's coming out, Shadow Sun is woefully worse than every other Supreme Commander out there. Everybody else has an aura that is a unit within 12, uses a stratagem minus the CP cost by 1. We have, on a 5, return a CP. Now, her having an aura of 6 inches of reroll 1s is great, but why is it only 6 inches? That is incredibly restrictive. and she's 100 points at base just to get access to that. Now, that's not to say that Shadow Sun is bad, but in the scope of what has come out after, the design that so many other armies have had, she is not really as good. And then let's talk about the elephant in the room. Space Marines get access to, with Oath of Moment, full rerolls to hit, as well as +1 to wound. When they do that, they've got a bunch of characters that can just give a second Oath of Moment. And then so many of the codexes that have come out recently just have so many incredible tools that we don't have access to. I mean, look at the most recent World Championship of Warhammer. The nearest Tau player did 5 and 2, which is great. Like, that is the rank 1 Tau player in the world, did incredibly well. And it's not to reduce their achievement. Don't get me wrong. But in a tournament where there were plenty of things all the way at the top, Tau really struggled to break into that even 6 and 1 as a tournament run. Now, obviously, that could have been for other factors that I'm not considering at the moment. Contextual factors do matter, like did they go first? Were they into just horrible matchups that are naturally a lot harder for an army like Tau? But my point is that, no player at the WCW had a X and 1 run or an X and O run. And then we cop a nerf to a unit that shows up in basically every list. You can't take them in 3-mans anymore. It would cost you nothing, GW, to let us run them in 3-mans for 80 points and then go 5 for 110. You get 5 models in the box. Is anyone going to be upset because they're like, oh, I can use 3 of these guys or I can use 5 of them? Do you think anyone is going to have a tantrum and be like, oh, I don't get to use all 5 of them. Oh, I wasted my money. Oh my God. It's humanity. Of course somebody would do that. Oh my God. Anyway, the point is nobody's going to be upset if we don't use all 5 models. So it just seems like such an easy win to give us 3 or 5 as the 2 unit sizings. I actually don't even care that we can't take them in 6-mans anymore, because 6-mans were great, but a 5-man does what a 6-man does. Who really gives a shit? Now, one thing that I do have to say, a little bright spot here, you can see down the bottom, Stealthsuits got access to grenades and marker light on the data sheet. Now, for anybody who's confused by why that is actually kind of a big deal, before, the marker drone on the Shazray is the thing that gave you access to the marker light keyword. If for whatever reason that Shazray died, the unit lost marker light. And that was a pretty big blow. So their guiding was still great for the rule that they gave in the +1 ballistic skill, but ignore cover is a big deal in 10th. So what this means is that you can kill off any model that you want, and you've still got marker light on them. That could be for reasons of positioning, unit models that you pull in combat to try and pull out of combat or pull off a play or whatever else. You've got more options there. The other thing is that grenades is a great keyword to have, because, having another unit, not just Fire Warriors or Pathfinders, that are able to throw those grenades is good for their output and for assisting the army. The problem is, you got to go within 8 inches to be able to do that. If I'm pushing to within 8 inches of my opponent's units, especially something which warrants a grenade, then no battlesuit support system to be able to fall back and shoot sucks. Oh my God, it sucks so goddamn bad. And then you've still got the same problem of the Shazray is the one who gets the pistol. Not all of them get pistols. So it's not like the unit has the ability to be able to fire into combat. So if you lose the Shazray for whatever reason, then you're up shit creek and you can't guide at all, because fuck you. And this is something that I feel like has happened so many times across the course of even just 10th alone. Titanic was ruining everything at the start of the edition. Our Storm Surges copped a points nerf at the same time as the rule got changed. We weren't even abusing the rule. We just got slapped on the side of the face for it. And there are so many other examples that I'm sure if I trawl through all the changes, I'll be able to see them. But it's late here in Australia at the moment, and I don't get why we needed a nerf, and nobody from the balance team should have looked at this and said this, oh no, this isn't a nerf, this is a side grade. This is just as good, because it's not. It's strictly not. Grenades and marker light on the data sheet as a keyword do not make up for losing a wound, losing choice of drone, being forced into taking 5-mans, and losing fall back and shoot. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of understandably angry people on the internet at the moment. One thing I will say is just like be respectful, guys. We're all on the same fucking side here. And somebody having the reasonable take, just because I'm having a reaction right now, doesn't mean that I'm not going to run them. Not that I think that the sky's falling. Not that I think that, like tower done and we're going to be a bottom tier army or anything like that. I just don't know. Like, we were in a very balanced state. Like, we didn't need to go down. Now, the only thing that I can say is a little bit of copium, maybe it's hopium, is that maybe there is something that's coming in line with the Twin Lance reveal, that there is some other thing that we can't account for yet, and we can't see the forest for the trees, but GW with the bird's eye view is looking at something in the future, and they had to release the rules at this point because the kill team came out, and there's something that's going to make it up to us. But I am just like, honestly feeling a little bit slapped in the face because I have been positive on GW. I have sung their praises for good changes and everything else, had a lot of faith in that the balance team was going in the right direction. But this, in my opinion, is just such a misstep. This is such a misstep. And I think it's a reasonable response for anybody to hate this. And for the other side of it, for people to say, yeah, we copped a small nerf. It's fine. I'm still going to run them. Stealthsuits, whatever, the sky's not falling. I think that both are valid, but I just do not like that we seem to keep copping little drive-bys over and over again. When other armies like Marines are out here just like having everything you could ever possibly want. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do all the internet things. Put it down below. Like and use the hype feature and whatever else. Or don't. I'm not your dad. See you in the next one.